What's going on, guys? My name is Ryan Ramakrishnan, and today I'm going to be talking about Ubisoft's E3 2018 presentation. Overall, I thought it was actually pretty good. I think that they presented their games well. They had a lot of content for people who are into their games, and all sorts of games too. You know, we got shooters, we have action games, multiplayer games, dancing games, and so much more. So I'm glad that Ubisoft did what they did. I'd be lying if I said it all appeals to me, because the truth is, a lot of the games they're showing off right now don't really appeal to me a whole lot. I mean, Ubisoft in general has a lot of games which I dig. I'm really into their single-player open-world kind of games. They're adding content to stuff that I just don't personally play. Ubisoft failed to show us like a big surprise.
That means no surprises.
Kind of like one of those, like, oh yeah, one more game. I believe in the last few years we had stuff like Wildlands, The Division, Rainbow Six Siege, and some other stuff that kind of closed off their press conferences and got people excited for something new that they're going to have to wait a while to see. And there was none of that this year. If I'm not mistaken, Trials Rising is the only new game that nobody knew about prior to E3.
Now I'm pleased to announce that Trials is back and it's bigger than ever.
Honestly, Trials Rising is a great looking game, but if it's the only new game that we know about, then that's kind of a problem. It ended with Assassin's Creed, which is fine. I'm really excited for that actually, but I wanted something else at the ending. All of these rumors pointed to a new Splinter Cell, and I thought maybe a Watch Dogs 3, that would kind of make sense. Or maybe something else out of the blue and something different, but they didn't give us that at the ending, and I was a little disappointed by that because I've come to expect that, and Ubisoft usually has something up their sleeve to show us that we don't know about, but in this case, we pretty much knew about everything they had, even though it's new content. Still, there was nothing too fresh or new, and that's kind of where the show fell short for me. I'd say that inevitably there were a few cringy moments and some stuff that people are not going to care about. But it was a fun conference. They did present themselves well enough, and I enjoyed it for the most part. Like I said, I'm just disappointed by no new surprises. I'd be lying if I said that the introduction to their press conference wasn't a whole lot of fun. While there has been live music in many E3 presentations and press conferences over the years, especially with Ubisoft, this one was not really that cringy. I actually thought it was kind of fun, and the music and Panda Bear, and everyone dancing and moving across the stage and just going from location to location and continuously moving to the music with really good sound. It was just a delight to watch, and I'm glad they opened up with that. But Just Dance is not an impactful game by any means, and to open up with Just Dance is iffy because I get that they're going to get their smaller game that they're inevitably going to make out of the way, but at the same time, at least they did have a pretty fun presentation with that. Two of Ubisoft's biggest games right now are Rainbow Six Siege and For Honor. I unfortunately don't really have a whole lot of interest in either. While I think that both games do look like a lot of fun, and I know that there are massive communities for both, they just don't really speak to me that much. But Ubisoft was of course going to show new content for both games, as they are games as services, ones that Ubisoft is supporting heavily. And that's great for the fan base for both Rainbow Six Siege and For Honor. Basically with Siege, they're focusing a lot on the esports community, and they're really putting a heavy emphasis on people who are big into competitive gaming, particularly with Siege, and I know that there are a lot of people who dig that. They're showing a lot of respect to their community, so that's great, and they're going to continue to add new stuff to keep people playing it. And with For Honor, they were adding a 4v4 and some more single-player content and fighters and a new faction to play as, and that is really cool for sure. So the thing is, Ubisoft is making sure that they have their fan base and their player bases of both games happy and always giving them new content. So that's great, I respect it a lot, and it's nice for the players, but unfortunately it just didn't appeal to me. So for me personally, it really does nothing in the end. Part of me thinks StarLink is not a game that I would play and one that I kind of just don't care about. But on the other hand, I think it does seem kind of fun. This new game, StarLink Battle for Atlas, looks like a pretty interesting space combat type of game, and the concepts of being able to sort of build your own ship, like actually outside of the game but with physical pieces, is interesting for sure. And it looks like it could be pretty cool. I also really dig the Star Fox crossover. I think that Nintendo has a great relationship with Ubisoft, and hey, Shigeru Miyamoto got to be seen at that press conference. He was very happy, and he was given a very beautiful model of an R-Wing, and that was just kind of a charming moment. So for that alone, I am very glad that StarLink had showing and this crossover at Ubi's press conference, even if this game is something I probably wouldn't really play in the end.
We were alone at the top of the food chain. Well, we thought we were.
Skull and Bones is one of their big games that we got revealed last year, and we have been wondering for a while what it's all about, when is it coming out, and what kind of game is it actually. And they did show us a lot, and they made sure to let gamers know what they're gonna get into with Skull and Bones. If I'm being completely honest, I thought the cinematics looked awesome. I was talking to my friend who felt the same way about this game, where they were like, nah, I'll never play this game, and that's how I feel. But I was so into the trailers they showed us that I almost wanted to be into it because they made it look really awesome. And I think that's a testament to how they do know how to make cool trailers for games, but it also kind of speaks to the fact that they have games that appeal to audiences of all sorts. Skull and Bones gameplay doesn't really look that fun to me personally. I don't think it looks boring per se, but if I'm being completely honest, I felt like it looked a little uneventful. But I think it looks beautiful. Like I said, the cinematics are great, so I'm excited for the people who are excited for it, but that's just another game that I don't really care that much about at all.
In just a few days, freedom will be yours.
I played the closed beta for The Crew 2, and within not even a minute of actual driving, I kind of knew it wasn't for me. I've always liked driving games at first glance, and I played some like Need for Speed, but for some reason I can't really do The Crew. But it looks beautiful, and it's definitely one of Ubisoft's nicest looking games that's coming out, and I definitely respect all the people that are going to be spending hours driving around in different kind of vehicles and having a good time with it. And Ubisoft having their own racing franchise is actually super cool, but unfortunately this is a game that, like many of their others at their show, doesn't actually speak to me. They didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, like they didn't overstay their welcome with The Crew 2, and that's good, being it is coming out extremely soon. So I would be disappointed if they spent a lot of their time talking about something like that rather than something that is more of a special surprise, which we'll talk about in a minute. One moment that was, of course, scripted and maybe a little cringeworthy was the introduction to Trials Rising, but I guess you could still say it was fun. And Trials Rising looks great. I've enjoyed Trials games in the past. Trials Fusion's a good time and very hard for sure. I do die a lot, and I love that this new Trials game sort of embraces death in there, and they make a fun joke out of it. The trailer just shows continuous death in the most ridiculous ways. It shows that this game is just a good fun game, and Trials Rising is coming to the Switch, and that sort of sold me on it. I don't know what it is. It's not that I wouldn't want to play it on my PlayStation, but I said to my friend who I was watching the press conference with, if this game comes to Switch, I dig it and I would totally buy it because this sort of seems perfect, and I love that Ubisoft does have good relations with Nintendo to bring their games over there. So I think I'm going to pick this up on Switch. It looks like just a fun game to play for a little bit here and there.
Oh, I fell off my bike.
I was really into the gameplay demo of Tom Clancy's The Division 2 that was shown at Microsoft's press conference, but the voices of the people playing together was just such a scripted and unrealistic dialogue that I couldn't help but cringe at that. Regardless, I think the gameplay looks like a lot of fun, and I really do have a feeling that they're going to try their best to improve on the first game and make this some sort of massive, ambitious project, and I'm really excited for it. I'm not really one for multiplayer-focused or cooperative-focused games, so that's why The Division sort of wasn't for me, even though I love the concept and style overall. But something about The Division 2 is really grabbing me, and I kind of want to experience something like this. And even if I just play by myself, I'm actually think I'm down to give it a try because it looks really cool, and I just love the story that they're using here. And the Division 2 cinematic trailers that they showed at Ubisoft press conference, those looked awesome. I was stunned and just blown away by how they panned out, and they looked great. So they got me really excited for a game that before right now, I was never sure if I had any interest in playing. So now I'm actually really looking forward to playing the Division 2.
Keep laughing, fools. The key ingredient to good cooking is love.
I loved Beyond Good and Evil 2's opening, and I loved the cinematics. They looked so beautiful. I felt like I was watching a movie or a trailer for a really awesome animated film that sort of gets close to realism. This game seems awesome. They were talking about so many great things. This shared world where you get to go to different planets, and it's just this massive universe. And it's an action role-playing game. And the little bit of combat and gameplay we got looked pretty cool. I felt like the gameplay was kind of special, and it looked like something really exciting. So of course I was disappointed that we couldn't really get a lot more than just a few seconds. Very, very zoomed out. But I feel like that combat was looking good, and I have a good feeling about it. That was pre-alpha, so this game's a way off. Now, here's the thing. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is probably going to come out, like, if I was to guess, 2020. But it's super exciting to see this ambitious game. The ambition is very, very clear in plain sight. They are working hard on Beyond Good and Evil 2, and just the cinematic trailers alone that we've seen really just make my day. I'm so excited for it. So I'm just stoked to see more, and I really hope that in the near future we get to see a little more, because this right now might have been my favorite game of the press conference if it weren't for it being so very clearly far away and Assassin's Creed having a bigger showing. This would have been my favorite game at their press conference, because I think they did a really good job at getting us hyped. And of course they talked about the ability to add your own music and textures and pictures and stuff.
Whether you're a writer, a musician, an illustrator, if you're a pro-level artist, or if you're just someone who really cares about Beyond Good and Evil and that world, and you love it and you want to be a part of it, there's going to be ways for you to contribute.
User-generated content in a video game like this, that is unheard of, and that's amazing. So I think that Ubisoft is doing a really good job at speaking to their fans, so keep up the good work with that. Beyond Good and Evil 2 looks awesome.
And for the first time ever, you will choose to play as either a male or female hero, Alexios or Cassandra. Both heroes will share the same story and gameplay possibilities.
Easily my most anticipated game coming from Ubisoft right now is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm a very big Assassin's Creed fan, and I really, really dig what they've done with the series lately. Assassin's Creed Origins greatly improved on what the franchise was lacking or just was not doing so well, and Origins made it an action RPG that is mechanically awesome. So they promise to continue on making it even more of a fantastic action RPG. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey looks so good. I really appreciated this extended look at it, being this is kind of the game that you'd want to see a lot of content on. Whereas something like StarLink or Skull and Bones probably aren't appealing to as many people. Assassin's Creed is worldly renowned, and even if it's had many downfalls over the last few years, it's sort of in a great place right now, and people love Origins. So I think it's good that they stayed and talked a lot about it and showed us actual gameplay. You got 2 playable characters, one's a female, so that's like Syndicate, that's good. The graphics are beautiful, the combat looks even more rich and action-packed, and I'm super excited to play more Assassin's Creed in the state that it's in now. I think that Odyssey's storytelling will probably be awesome, because ancient Greece and the time period they're going for have so many rich people and historical events and figures and stories to tell. So I'm really looking forward to Ubisoft's take on ancient Greece, and I think that their continuous improvements of Assassin's Creed are going to show a lot in this game. I already feel good about it, and it was my favorite game at Ubisoft's press conference, and is a solid way to close it, without a doubt, if you ask me.
This is Sparta!
So yeah, that's how I felt about Ubisoft's E3 2018 presentation. Pretty good, but lacking surprises, and some things were not incredibly fresh or new. So let me know what you guys thought about Ubisoft's conference in the comments below. Tell me what games you're most excited for. Are you digging the new Assassin's Creed in ancient Greece? Are you excited for more For Honor or Rainbow Six Siege? How about Beyond Good and Evil 2? Do you think it's ever going to come out? Let me know your thoughts, and let's talk about Ubisoft. Subscribe if you like this, and hopefully soon enough you'll see my reviews on both Sony's and Nintendo's E3 presentations. I gotta say thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all the views and attention, and I still have a couple more press conferences to go. So subscribe if you're down to see that, and stay tuned for a lot more.